Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Order of Battle World War II, the newest DLC out for that game, called Sandstorm, which takes you to the fields of North Africa, or the deserts of North Africa, and puts you in the shoes of the Desert Fox of Erwin Rommel himself as you attempt to overwhelm the British and Commonwealth forces in the North African theater. Order of Battle World War II originally was Order of Battle Pacific, which is sort of this Panzer General type take on the Pacific theater with a lot of interesting and new or different mechanics in terms of front lines, supplies, a lot of sort of additional pieces that made the game feel a little bit less puzzly and a little bit more tactical. The game has since spread into the European theater as Panzer Corps, the remake that Matrix and Slytherin Games, the publishers of Order of Battle as well. As that game got a little bit older, it stopped being updated, and new campaigns stopped coming out. Order of Battle has kind of slid into the European theater as well. They cover the Finnish campaign, the Battle of the Atlantic, the German campaigns in Western and Eastern Europe, the early war campaigns, the late war campaigns. But one of the big areas, one of the big gaps for the German perspective anyway in the European theater was the North African campaign. And with Order of Battle Sandstorm, that campaign gets its due. We are playing the first battle in the Sandstorm campaign. We are driving east from El Agheila. We've stopped the British attack on the Italians, and we're trying to drive them back, advance into Libya, liberate quotes, Libya, and take Tobruk. So that's our objective in this battle, but we'll see how things play out. This was from our first look stream from just a few days ago, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to the stream, and we'll pick up where we left off, just on the conclusion of capturing General O'Connor, the British commander of the forces in the region. We kind of stumbled across a random truck, a Chevy W8, and destroyed it, and it told us we captured the commanding British general. So quite a coup that we're entering into, but that's enough of me rambling. Let's go ahead and get into the battle. I hope you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy. That's a good turn. Captured the enemy army commander, shot down the one enemy bombing unit. Destroyed one enemy armor unit, cut two others off. That's a good day at the office, I'd say. These guys, this one unit at least, is out of supply. They'll immediately get back in by pulling out, but it should at least limit any sort of attack they can mount. Forgot this is a recon car, so it can kind of go wherever it wants without supply, but it almost just killed itself. And for some reason, the out-of-supply British armor attacked heavy infantry, which also led to heavy losses. So, overall, I was kind of expecting our armor to, or our artillery to finish those guys off without having to do anything. Didn't really work out that way. All right. There you go. So that obstacle's gone. So those fighters are good. Go ahead and get rid of this barrier between us and Tobruk. I'm not going to attack those infantry. They'll lose too heavily. I'm going to fly with these Italian fighters back to refuel, and that's going to do it for turn 15. We are blazing through this game. We're 15 turns in out of a potential 30. And so far, things are going reasonably well. I'd really like to take this airfield up near Derna. That should help ease the fact that we're spending quite a bit of time and losing several turns with our troops having to pull back, resupply. There you go. We just took the airfield. And destroyed the enemy anti-aircraft guns. So don't have to fly those guys back there anymore. Fly them over that way. Climb to the front line. There you go. Alright, let's get these bombers into action. Enemy anti-aircraft guns are in existence down here. Alright, so we drove that guy back. How's our artillery? Is it in range? No. The artillery's not in range of this town, so we can't quite just bombard them. Let's deal with that anti-air unit there. Reinforce these guys. We'll wait to finish this other unit off for one more turn. Mainly dealing with the anti-air to prevent them from hurting our tactical bombers any more than they already have. See, the enemy artillery continues to harass us, and now they're doing sort of counter battery fire against our artillery, which is mounted up. Closing in on Tobruk, though. Enemy infantry perhaps going to launch a counterattack up here? No, just move into place to get into the way. Another option, I suppose. Commander got wounded in action and has been hospitalized for recovery. No, Rommel, no! Alright. Continuing to advance. In the south, let's go ahead and break these guys. We'll actually blow up their anti-air with our own Stukas, and then we're going to go ahead and pound the hell out of these guys with artillery. Best we can. We'll hit them with tanks, drive them out, finish them off, destroy them. There you go. Alright, we'll have to clear that airfield next turn to get our Italian bombers to be able to land. But, there you go. So we just eliminated one obstacle here, and now it's for the final drive on Tobruk and then Barda, with about 13 turns left. Enemy artillery still exists on this road here. More of a nuisance than anything at this point. That infantry trying to kill itself. Tobruk might be a tough nut to crack, though, as it was historically. Why don't you guys land? Blasting the shit out of these guys. Alright, attacking some French colonials there. They're putting up a little bit of a fight. Nothing our armor can handle. Alright, so that does it. That was, again, a remarkably swift and desert rat feeling like turn, destroying an enemy an enemy artillery there, enemy armor here, and driving French colonials out of this town. So again, that was a good turn. There's some universal carriers down here, but now we need to drive on Tobruk, where I think we're going to face a tougher night. We can already see one British regular infantry unit at full strength. But that's really why I brought all the artillery that I brought, is to hammer our way through Tobruk with a substantial amount of firepower at our back. A British Spitfire. Multiple British air units, just great. It's a Hawker Hurricane, so not a Spitfire. That's good, at least. 109. Actually, we're losing too many units out of that air unit. That was probably a rash attack. I should have pulled it back to reinforce it. Alright, let's move our... this way, get these guys resupplied, give them a turn to rest maybe as we kind of pull up the rest of our troops. Bring up some of our artillery. So we'll advance in more uniformity next turn, I think. Really don't want to get my Stukas shot up by enemy. Let's actually go refuel these guys. We're going to take, like I said, a few turns to kind of pause and regroup, so might as well use that. We haven't used much of our money yet. We're actually regaining some money because we haven't been needing to do too much in the way of reinforcements. And now also there appear to be British naval assets, which are going to bombard our troops and cause disruption. You can see that lead infantry unit of ours got hit by naval and air forces of the British. This Hawker Hurricane just kind of sitting there, so that's a godsend, I think. I can go ahead and land my 109 and give it some reinforcements. We can go ahead and take off our Italian air, which is close enough to full strength. And we'll go ahead and reinforce both of our tactical bomber units. I presume there's a minefield here or something, but I'm not seeing anything. This must be the outer ring of defenses before we actually get to the fortifications. I mean, we're dealing with that, garrison unit here, that first unit that we're facing pretty effectively, I think. There's those guys. What the British Hurricane does. So enemy artillery. Air units pulling back. Is that a destroyer? I can't tell. There are mines over here. Still got about 9 turns left. It's getting a little bit tight. Alright, so we finished off that British unit. Now we can advance our engineers here to start destroying this concrete bunker if we like, but they're probably going to take pretty heavy casualties, I imagine. I think I'd prefer to swing wide a little bit. Knock out a minefield or two. Looks like there's another minefield here. Oh, so our infantry can't advance over there. Minefield. Alright, so... enforce them. Hopefully they get some rest and relaxation. Attack air aren't up yet, so we'll hold this guy in place. Move these infantry wide. Maybe go for Barda. Again, I don't know if I've got enough time. We'll see. So we're going to be moving to turn 22. A lot depends on how long it takes us to reduce Tobruk. I suppose we could swing around Tobruk and take the other objective. It'd be a little bit more historical if we were to avoid it. This Italian infantry unit's getting hammered by the enemy. They're all focusing on that one Italian infantry unit, though. That's kind of an interesting play. We do need to connect Eligela and Barda. Barda is over here, which, again, we don't have a lot of turns to do that, so we just need to be conscious of that. I don't really want to lose that many casualties for my armor, but I do want to open that minefield up, so we did that. Let's start reducing that fort, I think. I'm going to try and bombard it a little bit. So our flamethrower troops are going to kind of try and reduce this fort. They do a pretty good job there. They do take some casualties, but that's to be expected. Meanwhile, our other units can sweep in here. God damn it, a minefield. Another minefield. For fuck's sake. Man, British sure lay a lot of fucking minefields. At least do what we can to try and weaken this unit there. We have left to move. We've still got our tack bombs. Tack bombs, a phrase that I just made up. Because it sounds cool. Alright, fly these guys up here, get this bomber, or this fighter back in the air. And turn 22 coming to a close, moving to turn 23. Oh, there's some enemy artillery really focusing in on that Panzer Mark IV. And interestingly, their heavy infantry decides to launch mortars rather than actually attack with anything. Their destroyers are going to come in here and bombard us. I think I'm going to hit that destroyer with our Ju-88s. I think they've got some flak in here that might make it a little difficult, but... You know, the Blenheim, despite being a tactical bomber, is really kind of a piece of crap. Alright. Where's... Alright, so that Hurricane is hurting a little bit. Oh my goodness, there's so many explosions. Alright, that's the end of turn 23. Lots and lots of explosions and casualties all around. 2 bunkers weakened, which I think will probably both be destroyed next turn. Meanwhile, there's a lot more troops to kind of weed through here. So I may swing 1 armor unit wide and see if we can get to Barda with bypassing Tobruk. Are you telling me that the British wouldn't send their best and brightest Neuhauser to die in the desert? That seems far-fetched. Again, British heavy infantry with their mortar strikes. They could probably do a lot more if they were actually, like, shooting at German infantry. Yeah, you sail away. Oh, you're gonna keep blowing us up, huh? I'll take this, British destroyer. Down goes the Royal Navy. All right. Why can't... I'm confused. Why can't I attack that bunker? My armor. All I can do is attack the infantry. I guess is okay, I just destroyed it, but... Seems like an odd limitation where I can't physically attack it unless I have an engineer unit? Or did they surrender? Doesn't look like it. Weird. Alright, so we destroyed that bunker over there. Enforce these guys. How do I only have one German infantry unit? That seems like an oversight on my part. Alright, shoot down the Blenheim. Since the Hurricanes have run away. And continue on. All the artillery. Alright, so the Hurricane just took back off. We promptly shoot them down. Alright, that bunker's gone. Good, I didn't really want to do that. I need to try and get around these British and maybe get to the objective. We'll see if it's unguarded, maybe. One can hope. Keep the Stukas off the target for maybe another turn or two. Next turn. Once we've got 2 enemy anti-aircraft guns that I think could be problematic. I guess I can try and shoot at one of them. It does look like that's an effective option. Fly back there. So 5 more turns. We've got a little ways to go. Probably take us 2 more turns or so to wrap up here, and then another 2 turns to get here, so one would hope that the enemy doesn't have much in Bardia. So I'm sending these Italian infantry around the flank to see if we can race there. The other question is to see if the British actually start trying to withdraw from Tobruk, because historically I think they were cut off and sort of had this epic siege there. But, we don't want that. We both want them to surrender and want them to stay in place. Why can't we attack this infantry unit? can't attack it from here, but we can attack it from over here? What? Because that's logical. Alright, so defeated those guys. And minefield, yay! God damn, I should have learned my lesson by now. Move. F-109, go after the Blenheims. Go back and refuel. Because you already did your work. Alright, this is a weird restriction on what can attack where and why. I'm not entirely clear on it. You can also see some of our units are starting to run low on supply. I've been kind of noticing that for a while, but I haven't called it out, the fact that they've got the little yellow icons there. By the way, our Rommel is back. Alright, so that unit's destroyed, that unit's destroyed. Alright, so we took the town in front of Tobruk. We move with our armor on Barda. See if we can reinforce some of these guys. I don't like the idea of losing heavy casualties, but at least it's kind of like a spoiling attack in my mind. Let them rest, try and recoup some of their organization. It does look like the British have a relatively strong force in and around Barda. They've got a bunker and they've got at least 3 infantry units. We're gonna have to fight our way through. Our Stukas will finish off this enemy unit. Gonna be close. The Stukas could oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. The Stukas could potentially help if there's no enemy anti-aircraft around there. Just sweep in and kind of take it with our armor and overwhelm them. I think we'll get a supply boost if we take Tobruk, though. We also need this inshore road, which I think is a better road to transport supplies across. There you go. Harbor destroyed. Realizing their desperate and untenable position, British garrison troops have destroyed the harbor and infrastructure of Tobruk. Damn it. So we did just take Tobruk. I'm assuming the destruction of the infrastructure influences our ability to use it as a supply depot. Or whatever. Fucking A. Alright, so we've got 2 more turns to take the town. I don't think we're gonna do it. I think there's too many obstacles between us and them. shit. Alright, so at least the British in Tobruk are cut off. We'll have 2 more, maybe 3 more turns. They're going to attack the Italians there. At least they've pulled out of their good defensive terrain, I think. So they did just drive the Italians back. See if we can speed our infantry through here to try and race in on Tobruk in 1 turn. We're not going to do it. Shite. That hasn't moved yet. Is this the only thing? Yep. Alright, well, I think we're going to lose by 1 turn. Connect Eligala and Barda. Wait a fucking minute. There's British troops in our rear. That's part of our supply issue. God damn. That's... we don't even have a direct line between us and them. That's why we're so low on supplies. Apparently there was 1 straggler back here that's playing havoc on our rear. Well, I don't even think we can win then, because I don't think we've got a direct line of supply. Shit. That's so fucking dumb. So dumb. Game over. Defeat. Well, there you go. First look at the Africa Corps. My own failure because I allowed 1 enemy unit to get in behind me. Disbanded and forces recalled. Yet somehow we drove all the way to the Egypt? I don't know. That's weird. All right. Well, there you go. That's your first look of Sandstorm, the new Africa Corps focused look at Order of Battle World War II. My own inept generalship allowed apparently 1 enemy unit to be in our rear, which cut off our supply lines and took the roads, prevented us from linking the cities we needed to link. So apparently defeat, woe on me, I am no Erwin Rommel. But it is what it is, and there's your first look. It's an interesting look. I think supply lines play a more important role. They already play an important role in Order of Battle, but the desert look really adds some emphasis to it. I also like the focus on limited supplies, the restraints that the Africa Corps had to deal with. The game does model sort of that. So again, I think it's an interesting look at a theater that gets a lot of attention, but has some unique elements on how you might try and model it in a game and really have that Africa Corps feel. I think it does it as well. You know, in most of the European battles, it feels like you're kind of slogging your way through the campaigns. This one feels a little bit more fast-paced. The turns went quick, the unit sizes are smaller, and that probably plays a role in that, but you're also covering larger distances, it seems, which again seems authentic for the Africa Corps type of motif. So that's sort of my initial take, is that it's an interesting addition to the Order of Battle World War II DLC stable. It's not linked in with any of the other DLCs, so it's kind of a standalone DLC, and what I mean by that is you don't, if you complete it, your forces don't carry over to another campaign. But I think it's worth a look, and I may come back to it, but probably next time that we look at the game, we'll return to our Blitzkrieg campaign, as I think we're, past Greece, or we're into Greece. We took Yugoslavia, we're moving on to Greece, and shortly the Russian invasion. So we'll see how that all goes. But until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in for yet another stream and video, and this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, sorry for the technical issues earlier, and I'm out.